Welcome back, my dear students and viewers. We are going to continue from where we stopped from. The other time we saw a registration form. This time around we are going to try and then display the data that we have in our database. For those people who were with us in our last meeting, we managed to ensure that we can send the data into our database. And now we want to see that this data that we have in our database, how can we create a display form, or how can we can even use a search engine, how can we design it using PHP. And this is going to be a very simple task. You will need to create a file, just one file, because you already created your login credentials, your configuration credentials. So I will just need to create a simple straightforward form, and then I'm going to use the same process. I will just create a form, and then this form that I've created, let me save it. I'm going to call it display, or I'll call it show or search, whatever name that I'm going to call it, search.php. So that's my simple. Then I'm going to at least create a simple table which will help me to design accordingly. We need to make it in center, but whatever style that you prefer, make it in center. And ideally, you know that right now we are only interested in one thing. So we just need to delete this. Try to merge them. In this step of mine, I just need to give it a 0. I'm going to call it maybe display. Display form. So this is our form for just displaying, and here we just need to come up with something. Simply, I'm interested to have my search to research for me, and I can use maybe search by name, search by address, search by anything. And then I will need to put my button here, my submission button. Okay, this is my submission button. It will do my simple work. You can even change anything with it. And simply I will need to display my content outside. So here I will call it nothing else to add here. And now I'm going to type my PHP code. So our PHP code, as we know that we are already interested in calling the config files. Without them you may not have everything complete. We already have our config file. I will just copy that, and then we know very well that you need to have the closing. This is our code that we wrote for the registration form. So after that configuration file, then what you need, it is simply to start writing those simple if statements, because automatically I want by the time I click on, it does for me the work. I will just need to copy this simply for triggering our button, and then after that I will need to close it. So after doing all that, because here we have our button, then we simply need to write to declare this. I will declare that. I will call it search field. That search field, we gave it a name search. If you remember, it was called search. We need to terminate, and then inside here we need to have it as this is called search. Remember, I gave it a name which was search. So if I go back to my code, then I have called it search. So what is remaining? It is just to write a simple SQL statement which will correct for us that data into the database. Okay, I'm just going to copy this without wasting a lot of time. I've already written this code here. So this is my simple code, my dear student. We just go through quickly. Then this is the simple code that I've written to pick my data from the database. This was called registration, and I'm going to be focusing on the name. The name will help me, so if I know the name, then it will display. Then what you see here, like those SQL statement, these percentages, they show the name must be have the different information which contains within that. Whatever you type which contains that, then it will be displayed. Then I need to declare something here which will help me in new process, my SQL query. It will query the connection. I will call it connect. You remember very well in our last episode we called it connect. So I have connect loop, and if there is any error, try again. Then now this is where we need automatically, where is the data going to be displayed? I want this data to be displayed in form of a table, and that's why here I'm designing my table. I will write echo, then I design a table with the different specification. The width, it is 50. Whatever percentage you give, it is how big it will be. Then I want my table to have a border. You can even give it a border, and then you want it to be centered. Then you write a simple loop. This while loop, it will fetch for us the data from the database. So here you are fetching data from the database. Here, this is, you are just declaring in the search array, the search row, it will fetch my SQL fetch array, and then you fetch the data by even this function of association, because they must be associated with the same. Then once you use your loop here, then you start extracting. This is the function for extracting data from the database. So you write extract, and then you call what we have already declared. You don't need to write the same statement here. You just need to only call your variable here, and then the data will be displayed. Now these are just HTML codes in our display message that I have designed my table. It starts from outside. You don't need to put it inside because you're already correcting data. So this is just for designing purpose. Then you write your simple codes, your data. This is your raw cells. You define them. I have given them red. This is what is coming from the database, the name given from the database. But when you are picking it from there, you need to put a $sign. You put a $sign in an echo. If you remember our last first meetings, we saw how we echo any message. So this is coming from the database. That's why I'm interested to do it like that. And then we need to say here we have address in our database. Whatever you want, you can display it here. Display the address. These are just for organizing your work. Display the address. Then we said we had city. Display the city, and our city is city. We have many more, but let us first try with those ones and then we see how it works. Our table, we called it search. So when I go to our form here, I'm just going to add search.php. The reason why I'm adding it here, because it is just a page. So that's why / after cases, then you call it, and your page will be here. So whatever I type, if I type, I know I have Kasaga. If I type, you are going to see that the details for Kasaga are displayed. As simple as like that. Let us go back to the code. If you want to remove the borders, you can come, put it to 0, and then save your work. Okay, we go back. Then here you can put I had Jane. Then you can see that her data can be displayed, address, and then whatever you want to add there, even the sex and the rest will be added. If I want anything which had A, you're going to see that all my names which contains A are going to be displayed here. So that's the way we simply write our code to display data from the database. So you will follow it very well in your free time and then try it out, but that is the process that you go through to have your data displayed from the database. Then you can start asking yourself, what if I want to display all the data? What if you're interested to display all the data? Okay, what happens? So you can reiterate display all the data. That means you change only these statements. Instead of being specific with what you need, automatically it will be in position to display. So what if I say you already have your content? This is our statement here, that once you click on this button, then it does the wonders. And then here later I'm going to change that, maybe display all the content from the registration. Now I just need to remove this one here, and then later I save. Let us see what happens. If I run and then I click on my button, all the data will be displayed. Whatever I add from our table that we designed here, if I come here and then I just come and add Peter from Ginger, telephone number, mail, then I save, then I come, then I add, then depending on where you want to put him, then data is going to be saved. So literally when you come to your search page, you just click here, you're going to see all the contents that you have entered are displayed here. So that is the process, my dear students, on how you can search or how you can display the content from the database. Thank you very much for viewing. May God bless you as we learn more. The next session will be on how do we use sessions, on how do we use validations, and many more. Thank you very much.